So now that we've got this this simulation working as we like, I'm going to cache these out. And since we still got the cache here, it won't take much time. So I'm going to set this to 150 frames, what we want. I'm going to save it into my sim folder. Let's call it Ember Sim. So there'll be another folder called Ember Sim, and file embers embersim dot $f3 dot video. We'll put version as well, version 1, just in case we want to add more to that. Okay, so that looks good. Track load from disk now. That'll be saved out, and then we've got it working there perfectly. Great. So before we go ahead and render this, there's a few things I want to do in SOPs. Okay, so to add some color, now we're just looking at these are the colors from the inside the pop net there. So yeah, I want to add my own color to that, right? So let me say, I'm just going to drop an attribute wrangle first of all. Basically what I want to do is use the velocity, which we should have. If we look here on the geometry spreadsheet, we can see we got this velocity attribute, and I want to use this to drive the color. I don't want to just apply the color to be the same as the velocity, because it's going to change depending on direction. So I want to basically based on the speed, so we need to get the length of the velocity. So in here, in this wrangle, I'm going to do f at speed, and we use a simple function called length v at v. And that's it. Okay, and then what have I done wrong there? Oh, we need to be actually setting this. There we go. And then we should have a speed. There we go. So we've got values there from 11 down to 0. Okay, and they will update, based on per particle, based on how fast it's going, right? So I'm going to apply color to them based on that. So this will overwrite the. So we've already got the CD attributes there. Okay, either white or red, and this will overwrite it. So we're going to use that speed attribute. So ramp from attributes, and it's going to be speed. Okay, so there we can see the change. So the range, as I said, if we look generally, the speed is going up to about, there's 9 there, 10, 12. So about 12 is the max. So let's set it, I'll just set it to 10. Let's come back over here so we can, let me hide this background. That should make it go away. It has not gone. Let me just go into another scene view. Oh, do we have it as the colliders coming out here? Maybe. Yeah. Let me. We'll just delete that out. I think I might have cached out the collider there. Let's see. Yeah. So let's do just, if we do stream with a star and set it to points. Deletes non-selected. There we go. So yeah, really we should be in here just putting pop object there, and then it will bring out just the pop object, but it's bringing out the collider as well. So now yeah, we're just I've isolated the point, so let's do that. So points, and here I want to hide that background. I don't want to see it for the moment. And then with the color, so there we're starting to see the gradient from black to white. I'm going to start, so we've got some presets here. We'll start with the black body one, which is kind of used for fires. Okay, and you can see the kind of range from red to yellow there. So, but I don't want, I'm going to play around with these a little bit. So I'm going to change this black. I don't want complete black. I'll set it to this kind of gray. This red I'm going to bring down as well. So kind of softer color, something like that. So a bit more desaturated. Same with the yellow. Okay, do the same thing. So bring this down to 0.3, 0.05 there. Okay, and then the white. I don't like to have pure white anywhere in renders, really. I'd prefer not to. So I'm gonna, well, let's just take a look. Just set this to kind of like a light gray, maybe something like that. Maybe add a bit of yellow to it, just like that. Okay, something quite subtle, not too over the top, and we can add some brightness and kind of you know, more pop to it in the composite or the shading. Right, so let's delete attributes to make sure we don't have anything weird going on in the render, because we're going to have a lot of attributes coming out from the simulation. Okay, as you saw in the geometry spreadsheet, we got, you know, loads of stuff that we don't need. So excuse me, I'm going to delete all attributes except for where is it? We need the, can I find the symbol? So my number 6. Okay, so we need except for ID, except for color, so which I just assigned. We need the ID because we got changing point counts. The point number is going to change, but the ID will stay the same throughout the simulation, right? So that's good for calculating velocity and things like that, or for the velocity blur. We are deleting the velocity now, but because we're going to render the motion blur within camera, we might do it in the compositing stage. Actually, we'll look at that in a moment, but we're not going to use the velocity anyway, either way. And speed, great, because we might want to keep that speed attribute that we just made. Let's also delete the groups. Just delete all of them. I'm going to use a time blend. Okay, this just gives us, again, if you want to render motion blur, I think I will do it in the compositing stage actually, but if you want to render motion blur, then this will give you, you know, in between frames for nice kind of curled with particle sims for nice curly curved motion blur. Okay, and then for the scale, so we'll be using the p-scale. So now we don't have any p-scale there, so it will be set to just 1, I think, and all of these will be set to a you know, the same size. But we can drive that now. So I'm going to use a attribute randomize, and I'm going to use the well, we're going to be generating and controlling the p-scale attribute. Okay, for the size, we're not going to see anything here now. Maybe if we attach some spheres to these in a moment, we'll be able to see it. Well, I can do that now. If I do a copy to points, and then just drop a sphere, we should see them scale. There we go. So we've got bigger and smaller points. Okay, but obviously I want them much smaller. So I'm going to set them between 0.01 and 0.005. 0.005. Okay, so that you can see they're much smaller now, tiny. It's hard to see the difference here because they are all so small, but you know, they're just a subtle variation in size. I want them small enough so that you can't see that they are spheres, like perfectly round, because, you know, particles of embers and you know, little flames, they're not going to be perfect spheres. So yeah, I want them to be really small. So but we're not going to be rendering these spheres, so that was just for visualization. Turn this, so delete that, and then out just out here is fine, so we don't have any other outs. There we go, so that's good to go.